as you can see, people leaving southern Lebanon. There is a mass exodus. You look to your right, you look to your left, smoke. These are Israeli airstrikes.
Israel has launched a barrage of airstrikes across Lebanon, and they've killed more than 490 people and hurt more than 1,000 others. This was the deadliest day of conflict in Lebanon since 2006.
Fearing an outbreak of a larger regional conflict, the Pentagon says it will send additional U.S. troops to the Middle East. Israel says its warplanes struck 1,300 Hezbollah targets, attacking what it says are caches of weapons, including rockets and drones. The IDF claims the weapons are inside residential buildings embedded among civilians. Lebanon's health ministry says 90 women and children were among those killed.
Say Israeli strikes killed nearly 500 people today, including nearly 36 children, and left more than 1,600 wounded.
This is a dramatic escalation. Will this spill into a full-on regional war, a full-on ground war? I think that depends on what Hezbollah does over the next several days. But we're certainly seeing an escalation here, and a war between Hezbollah and Israel is underway, without a doubt.
Understand that the people backing Hezbollah are in fact the Iranians. So this is a fight between good and evil, and between Israel and Iran.
A Hezbollah official says the militant group has entered a new stage of open-ended warfare against Israel. Israel and Hezbollah are old enemies. Tonight they're in a new war, and the people of Lebanon are caught in the middle.
The strikes came in waves, one after another.
You can see smoke billowing into the air from multiple blasts. The Israeli military warning residents to immediately evacuate homes and other buildings where they say Hezbollah weapons are located.
Israel accuses Hezbollah of storing weaponry in neighborhoods and deliberately endangering civilians.
Now, starting this morning, the IDF has warned you to get out of harm's way. I urge you, take this warning seriously. Don't let Hezbollah endanger your lives and the lives of your loved ones. Don't let Hezbollah endanger Lebanon. Please, get out of harm's way now.
Southern Lebanon awoke to this. It looks like all-out war. A special state of emergency has just been declared in Israel after days of intense fighting. This follows an Israeli strike in southern Beirut Friday, which killed a top Hezbollah commander.
In this residential neighborhood in northern Israel, the peace is fleeting.
Hezbollah firing war rockets into Israel after already launching more than 150 over the weekend.
When we heard the explosions, I was a bit fearful, more than usual. We are used to it, but it seems really serious this time.
Fears of a wider war in the region now growing. The Pentagon says the U.S. is sending a small number of additional U.S. military personnel in light of the increased tension.
Tactically, this is a move upwards. This is an escalation of that conflict, which is regional and could become global. So really, this is a conflict with Iran.
It's interesting that Hassan Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah, today was taunting Israel to invade. Go ahead, invade, because he knows that in many ways that would be a trap.
I think we're already in a wider war, and we have already been in a wider war for a year. There have been attempts to contain it. But as David was saying, once you start a war, and once you start exchanging fire with a group like Hezbollah, where does it end? Iran has already warned of, quote, dangerous consequences for what it called Israel's adventurism into Lebanon. Plus, as you mentioned, the West Bank, where there is a very large and growing problem with the Palestinians who are increasingly leaning toward Hamas, who feel that the settlers in that part of the country are taking advantage of this situation to steal Palestinian land. You have Iran that has attacked Israel. This could escalate very quickly into many fronts.
Derek, this conflict will certainly be a major topic at the UN General Assembly this week.
Absolutely. And on Thursday, I can tell you that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to speak here in New York. President Biden's scheduled to be here on Tuesday. The speech is happening at a precarious moment.
Israel's army chief of staff says it's targeting combat infrastructure that Hezbollah has been building for the past 20 years and preparing for the next phases. But the big question is if those next phases will include a ground invasion. Nora?
There are many questions tonight, Chris.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Baruch HaKodash. Double honors to my apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the hopeful members of the elect, the Bechayim, the house of David, that's been preordained, predestined to get delivered in these last times, and to be the ruling governing body of the nation, Yasha'Allah. And you have World War III update. All right, this World War III is brewing up. You see, and again, it won't happen until the microchip is mandated. Okay, the mark of the beast. But this is another World War III update. All this is brewing up, okay, for the day of Armageddon. Okay, so you have Israel going to war with Hezbollah, which is a militant group, Lebanon, and Israel is sending out missiles targeting regions in southern Lebanon around Beirut, which is the capital of Lebanon, and Hezbollah is sending out missiles targeting regions in northern Israel. Okay, so let's get a map, okay, because some of you may not know where Lebanon is. Okay, so this is Israel, as you can see. All right, let's look at the map. Okay, so-called Middle East, which is really West Asia. Okay, you have the Mediterranean Sea. You have Israel. Okay, remember the war last year, or the attack last year, I should say, on October 7th. All right, which started this whole conflict. Okay, with the Palestinians and the Gaza Strip, just southern below Israel. All right, they basically almost did a genocide on the Palestinians in that region. So you have Beirut right here, okay, which is a port city, and that's where Israel is mainly sending out missiles and targeting that region. Okay, and Hezbollah is targeting regions in northern Israel, and this is all prophecy. Okay, notice how there was a few things that was said that stick out. The U.S. is sending small troops over there to help Israel. And one man said, really, this is a conflict of Iran. And they always keep bringing up Iran because Iran plays a pivotal role in this World War III, in this third war that's going to brew up and lead to Armageddon. Once they touch Iran, that's really it. Russia is going to be that guard unto these other nations, Ezekiel 38. Okay, but again, the chip has to be mandated. So all this is brewing up. Okay, the angels are holding back the four winds till prophecy is fulfilled. In order. The chip has to be mandated, which is here. Elon Musk, through his technology, and other companies as well, that's not really getting the spotlight now, but they're already, they're already done with the trials. All right, they chipped one man from Neuralink. All right, or they chipped one man that was through Neuralink, which is Elon Musk's company. So all this is coming together beautifully. All right, now I was in ChatGPT. All right, just getting a little info. Again, I advise brothers to download this app. I'll be on this thing for hours, just searching up different things. Okay, practicing my Spanish and history and doing math equations on here. I love it. All right. So I was looking up Hezbollah. Okay. So what is Hezbollah? All right, let's get this. Hezbollah is a Shia Islamist political and militant organization based in Lebanon. It was founded in the early 1980s during the Lebanese Civil War with the primary goal of resisting Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon. So they actually been at this for quite a while. Okay, remember it said the last intense attack was from 2006, and the lady even said in that video that was from Israel, she said, "No, we're used to this, but this time it seems more intense." And yes, it is more intense because we're getting closer to all out hell breaking loose, Jacob's trouble, and the day of the Lord and his return. The group is supported by Iran and has also received backing from Syria. Right, that's why the man also said that this is a conflict of Iran, because they're backed by Iran. Okay. Hezbollah operates as both a political party and a military force. Politically, it has representatives in the Lebanese parliament and plays a significant role in Lebanon's government. Militarily, Hezbollah is known for its highly trained fighters, and it has engaged in multiple conflicts with Israel, most notably the 2006 Lebanon War. The organization has a dual identity. It is seen by its supporters as a legitimate resistance movement, defending Lebanon with the region, while many Western countries, including the U.S., regard Hezbollah as a terrorist organization due to its history of violent activities, including attacks on civilians and ties to Iran. The nerve, the audacity. Here it is, the biggest terrorist group in the world is America, okay, is Israel. Hezbollah is also involved in social services, running hospitals, schools, and charities, which helps bolster its support among Lebanon's Shia population. Its influence extends across the Middle East, particularly through its involvement in the Syrian civil war, where it has supported the government of President Bashar al-Assad. Right. And that's where a lot of actually Syrians fled to. You know, they fled to different places like Jordan and Lebanon. Okay. And one of the regions, again, was Lebanon. A lot of those Syrians fled because back in 2011, all right, when the president of Syria, okay, the president of Syria, I believe that's who it is, Bashar Assad. Is that what it said? It said, let me just look it up just to see. But when they were attacking protesters out there in Syria, a lot of Syrians fled out of that country. Right, the president of Syria, Bashar al-Assad. Just to make sure. Okay, I was reading that correctly. Okay. And I believe they attacked one of Hezbollah's generals. Let me just type that in. Just recently, just like, what, 4 days ago? Okay. General killed. Yeah, Lebanon's Hezbollah says senior leader killed amid Israeli bombardment. Okay. Yeah, senior Hezbollah commander killed in Israeli strike, which she was there since the beginning when Hezbollah was created in the 1980s. This man just died, what, a few days ago? You know? So this is going to definitely escalate. Israel's ongoing bombardment is the deadliest assault on Lebanon since the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah war. You see? So they've been out this. All right, they've been at odds, and tension has been growing. Okay. And a few days ago, actually, type that in, it was, because what really kind of sparked us off was all these pagers that exploded in Lebanon. All right, let me just find a short video. I really don't want to play. Pagers just exploded, you know. It's crazy how, you know, none of them were on, no attacks on planes. All right, these pagers, no one with a pager went on a plane, and that would have been devastating. Okay.
It's been another week of terrible carnage in the Middle East. With Lee Cowan, a look back.
If there really are any rules of war, what happened in Lebanon this past week has surely rewritten the playbook. On Tuesday,
this would kind of set it off, actually, with this whole tensions and now war with Hezbollah and Israel. These pagers that just went off, okay? That just exploded, I should say. And they call Hezbollah a terrorist group. But look what Israel's doing.
thousands of pagers, those low-tech devices that were high-tech for many of us back in the 90s, exploded in the hands and pockets of suspected members of Hezbollah and on those around them. 24 hours later, the Iran-backed terror group was hit again. Only this time it was booby-trapped walkie-talkies.
It's very surprising. It's very bold. It's wow.
Israel has not officially claimed responsibility, although Matthew Levitt has little doubt. Hezbollah, he says, poses a threat much bigger than Hamas ever could.
They have what they believe is a directive from God, and they're going to follow through if they have the capabilities.
He's a former FBI counterterrorism analyst, now at the Washington Institute.
Well, I'll just read this right here. This past week's attacks in Lebanon involving electronic devices used by Hezbollah, a group designated by the U.S. as a terrorist organization, has led to thousands injured and dozens fatally. Correspondent Lee Cowan looks at how the detonations of pagers and walkie-talkies reportedly triggered by Israel in response to daily rocket attacks by Hezbollah may rewrite the rules of war, and talks with the former Defense Secretary and former CIA Director Leon Panetta about what he fears will become the battlefield of the future. So that's what really set it off, okay? And Israel's excuse for that, well, it was crickets with them, all right? But they still remember October 7th because, of course, Hezbollah came to the defense of, of the Palestinians over there, all right, in the Gaza Strip, along with the Houthis, Yemen. All right, but all this is just, this is war brewing up, man. It's all prophecy. Okay, so let's get some scriptures now. I don't want to make this too long. Okay. Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Right? Actually, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So you're going to hear of wars, rumors of wars, okay? But again, all these things must happen for prophecy's sake, okay? Because really, Armageddon, World War III, it won't happen until the mandation of the MOTB. So all these things that are taking place is just the chess pieces being in place. You see. So let's grab another video now. What was that? These port strikes, right? I want to get this. Trying to find the one I played earlier. I guess we can play anyone. So let's watch this.
Right now, the Port of Houston is bracing for a potential strike by longshoremen.
Yeah, the port represents billions in economic activity from Texas all the way up the East Coast. That could all come to a halt next week. Victor Jacobo is live from the port with the very latest tonight. Victor?
Yeah, this dispute is between the U.S. Maritime Alliance. That's a group that represents companies that move cargo at ports across the country, like the one you see behind me here, and the International Longshoremen's Association. That is a union that represents port workers. Both sides are battling over a new contract, but they are running out of time to avoid a strike.
They want to go automation. They want more money now. Get rid of these men. We don't need them no more.
That's Harold Daggett, the president of the...
And this can be a devastating blow to the U.S. economy. And I didn't know it was all the way to Maine, from Houston to Maine. Okay, I heard it was from the Carolinas, from the Atlantic to the Gulf, all right, to the Gulf of Mexico, where these ports are. But yeah, they said at these, let's actually play it back, all right, by October 1st.
Next week, Victor Jacobo is live from the port with the very latest tonight. Victor?
Yeah, this dispute is between the U.S. Maritime Alliance. That's a group that represents companies that move cargo at ports across the country, like the one you see behind me here, and the International Longshoremen's Association. That is a union that represents port workers. Both sides are battling over a new cargo at port.
Next week, Victor Jacobo is live from the port with the very latest tonight. Victor?
Yeah, this dispute is between the U.S. Maritime Alliance. That's a group that
So U.S. Maritime Alliance.
represents companies that move cargo at ports across the country.
So their job is to move cargoes to ports, all right, around the U.S.
The one you see behind me here, and the International Longshoremen's Association. That is a union that
Okay, he said International Longshoremen Association.
represents port workers. Both sides are battling over a new contract, but they are running out of time to avoid...
They're battling for a new contract, all right. I'm guessing it's going to probably go into it more, but being underpaid, of course. And I believe, I heard till August 1st, which is like, what, next week? So, yeah, man, it's going to slow down a lot of produce, all right. I heard car parts, construction parts. Oh man, this is going to affect a lot of things, okay? Produce, car parts, and construction parts, you know?
Strike.
They want to go automation. They want more money now. Get rid of these men. We don't need them no more.
That's Harold Daggett, the president of the International Longshoremen's Association, in a recent video posted by the group online. The union, which represents more than 40,000 workers at 36 ports from Brownsville, Texas, all the way to Maine, is seeking wage increases as well as protection from automation, which it believes is a threat to its members. This week, Daggett said in a statement he points blame of a potential strike, quote, squarely on the shoulders of the U.S. Maritime Alliance, or USMX. USMX, meanwhile, said on the same day that the two sides have not been able to schedule a new meeting to continue negotiations, with the current contract set to expire on September 30th, setting up a potential strike to start on October 1st.
For each day of a potential strike, it's estimated that it'll take 4 to 6 days to clear up that cargo.
Margaret Kidd is a supply chain expert at the university. Potential strike to start on October 1st. Potential strike, quote, squarely on the shoulders of the U.S.
Come on, brother. Okay, brothers need to stop texting me. It's loggy. Yeah, probably need to put this on Do Not Disturb. Also, brothers want to text me. Okay, the blame for a coast-wide strike in a week that will shut down all ports on the Atlantic and Gulf Coast falls squarely on the shoulders of USMX.
Maritime Alliance, or USMX. USMX, meanwhile, said on the same day that the two sides have not been able to schedule a new meeting to continue negotiating.
Despite additional attempts by USMX to engage with the ILA and resume bargaining, we have been unable to schedule a meeting to continue negotiations on a new master contract.
Negotiations, with the current contract set to expire on September 30th, setting up a potential strike to start on October 1st.
For each day of a potential strike, it's estimated that it'll take 4 to 6 days to clear up
4 to 6 days. So this strike goes longer, just 7 days. Okay. You know, 7 times 4. All right. 28. 1 day, okay, will set back importation, getting these produce where they need to go to, all right, getting these commodities where they need to go to these different stores and corporations. One day of striking will set back, movement 4 to 6 days, okay? Distribution, it'll set it back for 4 to 6 days. So 7 times 4, if this goes on for 7 days, all right, that's like 28 days of a setback, okay? So hey, we'll have to see, but this is definitely major.
Cargo.
Margaret Kidd is a supply chain expert at the University of Houston who says a strike impacting ports from the Gulf Coast to the East Coast could cost the U.S. $5 billion each day.
Wow,
that could lead to higher prices.
$5 billion it can cost the U.S. each day.
And shortages of supply for consumers and businesses.
Certainly.
What scripture comes to mind? What scripture comes to mind? All right. Okay, 2nd Ezra 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, your grocery stores and outlets and different corporations that have produce or car parts, construction parts. Okay. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Man. And it's gonna cost the U.S. $5 billion, she said, each day of this protest. It's gonna be a major blow to the economy, And they seem very adamant. If there's no new contract, this strike will happen. Okay, so you're gonna see a reduction in these different commodities.
Perishable goods, fresh fruit, meat, and then automotive supplies or parts. So, that will impact manufacturing in many parts of the country.
Yeah.
Kidd says consumers should not consider
food and car parts, which that'll be devastating to manufacturing, just like she said. Okay.
hoarding goods as the nation's supply chain has built up resilience.
And hell, a lot of people can't buy new cars and eventually. And remember, all these these dealerships, they got hacked. Okay, I was actually talking to one of my neighbors. All right, he said that he can't work because he works at a auto dealership and he can't work due to the hacking. All right, that was like what, a few months ago. Okay.
See from lessons learned since the pandemic.
This is not going to be like COVID, where there really were huge delays. We could see some delays up to several weeks to several months.
Man, we can see several delays to several days, or we can see delays to several days to several months. Woo! Yeah, I'm in it off here, but yeah, that's like a news/prophecy. Okay, like things are really getting heated up. All right, and a great way to kick it off, because now we're at the end of the year. It's fall time now. Okay, we just got out of summer. It's now fall. Okay, and things always get more dramatic. I notice around the when we get closer to the winter solstice, that's where a lot of witchcraft goes on, and Esau, gets his witches to cast their spells and whatnot. Okay, a lot of deception and just a lot of things be happening around this time, I notice. Okay, it makes sense because we're in the darkest times. All right, and the fall and the winter is one of the darkest seasons. So a lot of witchcraft, is a lot of spiritual warfare is going on, okay? But the Lord's going to, protect his elect, all right? So, hey, just keep your head in a swivel, call it Yabash Mashai, keep praying, I say to myself, and yeah, until next time, Shalom.